How much does it cost? That is one of the biggest questions that we get asked all the time for a high-end railing like this is how much does it cost? Let's break it down. Let's take it from the bottom to the top. This bar right here has been completely done with a water jet. These square holes have been cut out at a specific spacing so that there was not a gap bigger than 4 inches. And then we went through and welded the bottom side so that there was no visible welds. These radiuses were also cut so that it fit nice and tight against the wood newel posts out in the field. Then after we got the bar water jetted, we would go through, sand it, grain it, put this nice polish on it. These holes, these bore holes have been put in so that we can hide the fasteners behind a plug once installed. Now moving on to the balusters. These balusters come in a standard size. Luckily, we can break these balusters apart into 3 pieces. They're threaded together. You have the bottom, you have the middle fluted section, then you have the top, and all of these come from the factory drilled and tapped. And you can see that we had to shorten this fluted section up by like 6 inches. Well, by doing that, it got rid of the factory drilled and tapped end. So then I went and made these jigs so that we could slide it over. We could re-drill and tap our own hole so that we could reattach the other end. Now, this piece here is too long from the factory. So then we had to go through and take our overall height and cut off the bottom and then reassemble it. But we're still not done. Then we had to go through and sand and grain all of these parts and pieces because that's all in this raw form and it doesn't look very nice. So all of this dust and all of these tools, that's the expense of a railing like this. This doesn't polish itself. It's hard to get a machine that will just do this automatically. You got to use these hand tools to get that nice polish on these. That's some of the expense is right there in the labor. Now for the top bar. We had to machine all of these holes and countersink them so that it could receive the hardware that is going in and fastening these balusters into place. They were all strategically placed so that when we screwed in the top bar and welded in the bottom bar, that the vertical bars were all in line and nice and plumb. We also had to drill and countersink holes to mount the wood cap that will be provided by others. So how much does a railing like this cost? Now, I'm not going to be able to give you exact numbers, but hopefully as I broke this down and all the steps with the labor and the machining and the water jetting and just the material in general, hopefully that gives you a good idea on what something like this would cost.